guys, welcome back or welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Keisha. Today is going to be a tutorial on how to create a very neat crochet tapestry or alpha pattern where you don't have to weave in the ends at the end. This video is requested by a lot of you guys. I've been asked how to make this tutorial since I made this video, which you guys can watch up there when I did a crochet tapestry marathon. This is what I'm referring to when I say it's like a neat crochet tapestry, which you can't really tell which is the front or the back unless you really like nitpick. Pretty neat compared to all those other crochet tapestries, and I'm going to teach you how. So to start with, an alpha pattern is a horizontal knot structure that is quite similar to weaving. First thing you're going to do is just pick an alpha pattern. Any alpha pattern will work. I have a bunch on my Pinterest page if you guys want to see. It's under alpha patterns. I used to have this on my door, but I want to change it up to this hibiscus crochet tapestry, so that's what we're going to make today. Okay guys, so we are ready to start creating our crochet tapestry or our alpha pattern. So the materials that you will need, it depends on the type of crochet tapestry you want to create. I usually use between a 4.5mm hook and a 5mm hook, but today I'm going to be using a 4.5. You'll also need some scissors. Any scissors will do. And if you're creating a crochet tapestry, you'll need something to hang with, so usually something like a dowel or an actual crochet tapestry like stick or frame that holds it up. And also cheat, which is what I do, and just use a chopstick. Any chopsticks that you have lying around, and most importantly, the yarn that you're going to use. So the type of yarn I'm going to be using today is a weight 4 medium yarn. I'm creating this alpha pattern, so I got all the colors I needed to create it. These are all the materials I'm going to be using for today's project. So just a little introduction before we start. An important thing to note is that each square on the graph equals to a stitch. So a square equals a stitch. To start our graph, we're going to start at the bottom. First thing you're going to do is count how many squares there are in the bottom. The amount of squares is the amount of chains you have to make as the foundation of the graph. To create a neat graph, it looks best made with single crochets. What I did is I got my iPad out and I just put the graph in Procreate. I just counted the amount of squares are at the bottom, so that equals to 42. 42 squares equals 42 chains. So I'm just going to keep this here on the side, and we'll be referring back and forth to this. You don't have to have it digitally, you can print it. I find it's easier digitally, so I can just mark it off after I'm done and I can zoom in and out. So first thing we're going to do is create a slip stitch. After you've made a slip stitch and you've counted how many squares there are on the bottom of the graph, just chain that amount. So I have 42, so I'm going to chain 42. Now that I've chained 42 of my base color, next thing we're going to do is insert your hook into the second chain from the hook. So 1, 2. Insert your hook in there and make a single crochet. Insert a single crochet in all of these stitches until you reach the end. Just to reiterate, 1 square is equivalent to 1 stitch. All you have to do is count the amount of squares there are at the bottom, and that's how many you chain. So now that I'm nearing the end of my row, just gonna insert another single crochet in the last one, and single crochet. After you've done that, you're gonna turn your work. We're gonna refer back to our graph. So what I'm gonna do is count how many squares there are until I reach this pink square. So there's 16 squares, 16 white squares. So I'm going to crochet 16 single crochets. So from here, I'm just gonna insert my hook here with no chain 1, inserting my hook into the first stitch and completing a single crochet. So this takes us to the next part of the tutorial, changing colors seamlessly. When you see that you're about to approach a color change, a square that is a different color, this is where we're going to change colors seamlessly. So in the stitch before the different color square, we're going to insert a hook like normal. So this is my 16th square. I'm going to insert my hook and pull through. Now that my next color is pink, I'm going to use this color, this pink. I'm going to grab my yarn and make a slip stitch. Now that I have my slip stitch, I'm going to pick up my project again and put the loop on the hook. So it's going to look like this. I have my 2 loops on my hook and I've just added my slip stitch on the hook. From here we're going to pull through all 2 loops with this new color. I'm going to tie it in with my white color, my first color. You will have 1 loop of your new color on your hook. So now that you have this, I'm going to refer back to my graph and I can see that I have 5 squares, so I need to do 5 stitches of pink. So grab my yarn, I pull it taut, and I insert my hook into the next stitch, pull through my new color, pink, and just make a single crochet. I have the leftover from my slip stitch, the pink and my white, and I'm just tucking them in while I'm making my single crochet, and I'm just inserting into the next stitch, pulling through that new color and making a single crochet. So now that I have 2 of my new color, I need to make 3 more. So now that we're approaching our different color again, white, this is my 4th stitch and I needed to do 5. Insert my pink into the 5th stitch, grab my pink, and instead of grabbing my pink and making a single crochet like this, we're going to switch the colors and I'm going to push the white yarn back and use that as my pulling through loop for the stitch. So I push this white back and I'm going to make a single crochet like that. I don't know if that made sense, but if I just demonstrate it, hopefully you guys understand. So now on my crochet tapestry, I have 5 pinks. Even though I finished my single crochet with white, it still shows up as pink. So it doesn't matter the colored yarn that's being pulled through at the top, it's the color yarn that you insert your hook with. Now that I've done 5, you can count this if you want, but I know that the rest of the row is going to be white. So that's what I'm going to do. Holding my pink taut in the middle, you're basically sandwiching it with your single crochet. So I'm holding my pink, inserting my yarn through the stitch, catching this white yarn through the back, and just making a normal single crochet. I hold it like this, if this helps anyone. And I'm left-handed too, so this is going to be different for a lot of you guys because you're right-handed, but you'll adapt because I learned how to adapt with being left-handed. If you're left-handed, you don't have to change a thing. Single crocheting until the end of the row. Okay, so now that I've reached the end of my row, I'm just going to insert my hook here in my last stitch, create a single crochet, finish my single crochet, and I'm going to turn. But I've just finished my 5th row and I've just marked it off. So now that I've finished this row, I'm going to flip it and I'm going to work left to right again. So I'm just going to keep working until I reach a new color, and I'll show you guys how to change the colors again seamlessly. And I actually changed the colors because I didn't like it. I didn't like how it was turning out, so I changed it to something that was more similar to the graph. It doesn't affect this tutorial, but it just looks different from when I last left you. So I'm up to changing my 3rd color now, so I'll have 4 colors altogether. I'm just going to grab my newest color, the color that I need to do, make a slip stitch, and just like before, I'm going to insert my hook, pull through the color, add my new color on my hook, and pull that through. So I need to do 2 stitches of this, 2 squares. So 1 and 2, and I'll change back to my other color. And just resume my graph like normal. So I need to do 6. So it's getting pretty chaotic now in the graph, like with the colors and everything, but you just keep repeating the same thing, the same method, and follow the graph, and before you know it, you'll be finished. Once I've completed this row, I can mark it off on my graph and keep continuing until I've done all of those. So I'm just gonna keep crocheting that now. I'll meet up with you guys when I've finished the graph, and I'll show you how to make it look a bit neater, and we'll add the dowel. We'll add the dowel to the top. So I've just been working, doing the same method, creating the crochet tapestry, and I've completed the graph. I just need to do one more single crochet row of just the white, so I'm gonna do that now. So this is the front and this is the back of my project. You can tell that the back is really messy. So now that I've finished all of my rows from the graph, it's looking pretty good, but I just want to make it a little bit neater. So what we're gonna do is just add single crochets all the way around the border, just so it's a bit neater. It doesn't really matter where you put them. I just tend to put them wherever I can find a hole between each row. I'm just gonna do this, completing it all 3 sides of the graph until we reach this point again. Now that I've finished adding a border all the way around the tapestry, it already looks a lot neater. So what I'm going to do is I chained 1, and now I'm going to cut it. And I have my chopstick now, which I found, and I'm going to basically weave it into the top here with a single crochet. So I'll show you how to do it now. Make a slip stitch with your yarn. And I go to the last stitch at the top left here, insert my yarn, and get my chopstick, and I just complete the single crochet like that. The reason why I cut it off here at the end is because it's a lot neater when I'm single crocheting the chopstick from the left to the right rather than the right to the left. It just looks a lot neater for some reason. Yeah, so that is the reason for why I caught it, and I'm attaching it again. I'm starting my hook in the stitch, grabbing my yarn from the back, and just completing my single crochet like normal. Because the tapestry is a little bit wider than the actual chopstick itself, I make decreases wherever I feel like it, like this. So it just makes things a little bit easier. A little single crochet there, and I'm gonna add another decrease here. So inserting my hook, insert my hook again, and ta-da! No, just did a decrease. There's no specific method to this or how many times you have to add a decrease. It's just wherever you feel like it, wherever it feels like it needs a decrease. There you go. And I'm just going to continue this until I've reached the end of my chopstick. So I've reached the end now. I'm just moving it along just so it's a little bit neater, and I'm just going to do one more here. I'm inserting it there. You just want to make sure it's really secure so it won't fall out. Now that we've finished adding the chopstick to the top, we can now start to make the hanging part of the tapestry. So what makes it an actual tapestry. So for this, it's really easy. We're just gonna do chains. I don't have a specific amount, I don't have a specific number of chains that I do. I just kind of freestyle it and wing it and just play around with how long I want it to be. I've just done 50 chains here, and what we're gonna do is just single crochet this to the other side. Really simple, just attach it to the last stitch of the tapestry on the other side. Single crochet, and you can slip stitch it if you want to the end. Just attach it securely and chain one. Cut it off, and now we have our tapestry. Just before we finish, I just like to stretch it out a little bit. You can steam this. I haven't steamed any of my tapestries yet, but I do know it does make it look a little bit neater and more professional. But with these ends, I am just going to weave them in. You can use a darning needle, but I just like going in and out with my crochet hook. Now I'm going to do this side. So with these little things right here, I just cut them off just so it looks neater. Like this. Cut it off wherever I can see it. Yes, now we have officially finished creating our crochet tapestry / alpha pattern, and I think it turned out really well. This is obviously a lot neater for the back. The back could be a lot worse. I think this method works really well. So this is the front and this is the back. There's like minimal ugly spots on the back. This is the completed tapestry. I think it's really cute. I hope it made sense to you guys and it wasn't too confusing how I explained it. So excited in how this turned out. I'm gonna put it on my door. Thank you guys so much for watching and checking out this tutorial. So yeah, if you guys liked it, subscribe if you want, because I'm gonna be making more tutorials. See you guys in the next video. Bye!